So basically, let me just start. Let me share my screen for presentation purpose. We are not going to be using slide as much. It's today's class is going to be very, very interactive, just demystifying some of the technical terminologies that um, we know, but we used to think they are big and we don't know much about them. So let me briefly present my screen so that we can get to business. Yeah, I want to believe you can see my screen. One of the reasons why we are on this call is to enable us get prepared and equipped for the workspace. And trust me, it's becoming or it's increasingly becoming an interconnected world. One of my major achievements in my career, right, was being able to manage a due diligence for a company doing a fundraising. And why am I saying this is a major achievement? Was because of the fact that the people who were checking my books or our book as an entity then, so we've prepared the financials, we've done everything, and then people who were auditing us, so it's not audit this time around because it's more or less like assurance, right? People who were checking through our books, who were reviewing our books, were from China, KPMG China. They were the ones who were reviewing our book. And, it is only if you have done something really, really great that meets global standard that you have that kind of reviewer and you will not be scared, right? And that's one of the things that we want to learn here, to know that the fact that, see, everything now is connected. And because things are now very, very much connected, it is very, very important that we learn what the global standard is all about. And now a question is now about, okay, I've been learning these things, but I've not been able to put it into good use. I've not been privileged to leverage what I've learned in class. Now there is an opportunity on the ground that I need to secure, but they are not ready to take a risk with me because I've not done this thing before. So what do I do? I mean, you can do a lot of things, a whole lot of things. And attending this class is actually one of those things you can also do to continue to stand out when you're having this kind of situation. And I'll give us practical scenario as well. I'll keep chipping in some of my stories on how I've done stuff in the past and how I've answered some of these questions during interviews. And, we'll just make it as practical, technical, and relatable as possible. As practical, technical, and relatable as best as possible. Right. For us to enjoy this class, number one thing is, if I ask questions, please and please and please, if you have an idea, please raise your hands. The ideal way of being in this class is this: I ask questions, you answer. The idea of answering is this: I want to see what her thought process about the subject matter is looking like. And at the same time, we want to benchmark with whether or not it is practicable, right? We want to observe the practicality of what we know and how we know them. And at the same time, we also want to correct misconceptions. A number of people have misconceptions about what is even what. So I want to ask a question, right? We have started the session, and this is we talking about financial statement analysis. Some of us, what we are looking at my screen is called something within the workspace. Whether within the workspace or not, it is something within the finance and accounting practice. Who wants to try? What is this thing what will you call this thing? At first glance, this thing that you're looking at my screen, what are you going to call it? Okay. Lillian, please go ahead. Lillian, you are muted. Okay, Amos Olabi.
Okay. Thank you. So I think what I'm looking at here looks like a list of transactions in the company, and I think it's called a trial balance because it contains items that would go into different statements.
Now you have mixed something up. You said a list of transactions, and then you
Yeah.
said a trial balance. Is trial balance
Yeah.
a list of transactions?
Okay, no. But in the trial balance, we have like a number of transactions.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So is there transact? Can you see any transaction here? How do you even define transaction? I mean, the class have started, and I love the way we are starting, because when it comes to being a finance professional or an accounting and finance professional, before you even get to analyzing a financial statement, you need to know the rudiments of how a financial statement come to be being in the first place. How does a financial statement come to be in the first place? You need to know. So somebody has said this is a transaction or these are transactions. We want to explain to us what, okay, let me ask Blessing, are these transactions? If yes, how? If no, why not? Blessings, are these transactions?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Are these
These
transactions?
are, yes, they are
Okay.
transactions
Why?
in
How are they
trial balance.
transactions?
On that, okay, these have been done in the course of the period and included in each line item. So they
Hmm.
reflect on, because they are expense, they reflect under the operating expense. But in
Hmm.
general, operating expense is expense in trial balance.
Okay. I think I have someone who might disagree that these are not transactions. Who wants to disagree that these are not transactions? Let me open my queue. I think I'm having more people who wants to disagree. Who is disagreeing? Who is disagreeing? Samson, you want to disagree that these are not transactions. What are they? And what are transactions? Samson, are you there? Okay, if Samson is not there, Ali from
Good
Eliud, do you want to?
afternoon, sir.
Good evening. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I think this is a spreadsheet.
Okay. This is not just ordinary spreadsheet. This is a trial balance. This is a trial balance, right? And I want us to jot as much as we can, even from mere discussion that we're having, because we are going to get some insight from here. So who wants to try? Ebube, please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm disagreeing with the fact that these are transactions because transactions involve like debit and entry, but
Exactly.
these are just
There will always
one.
be entries when there are transactions. But please go ahead.
So these are just like expenses for the company. I'm saying marketing and advertisements, insurance, bank charges. They're just expenses.
Okay, they
That's
are
what.
not
That's what.
just expenses, but somebody has tried. Thank you, Michael Egbeyelu. Michael has said this is a comparative trial balance. They are not just comparative trial balance. This is a list of balances in the TB. Damilola John. Thank you very much. So again, we are all accountants here, and I will test us. If you are my mentee on this call, please do not attempt this next quiz that I want to give. I'll test us. We want exactly. You can also call them general ledgers. But I mean, they are trial balance, and at the same time, you can call them general ledgers. You can call them the ledgers, because from ledgers, the ledgers now can be the individual account head. It is when you enter into the individual account head that you get to the ledger itself. So individual account head is the ledger that shows transactions within that particular ledger. But when they are like this together, they are trial balance, right? They are trial balance. And then somebody said comparative trial balance. And I'm using this example because I want us to know how often some of us have been doing financial statement analysis, but we are not even cognizant of the fact that that is what we are doing. Some of us don't even know that that is what we are doing. And I'll ask some questions. But before I got there, because I noticed that some of us have actually mixed up what transactions is, Probably we go back a little bit. I'll ask a question. Okay, let me have a new sheet, a new spreadsheet, new. So this is what transaction is. Iwelabi purchased a MacBook. No, yeah, let's use MacBook. 1 million. Yes, this is the transaction. Anybody who can help me post this transaction? Who can post this transaction? My recommendation is this. All or some of the things that we are discussing, just be practicing them. Iwelabi purchased a MacBook, 1 million naira. Post it, write your own answer before anybody answer. Let me give us time. Write your own answer first before anybody answers. Iwelabi purchased a MacBook, 1 million naira. 1 million naira. It is not complete without the naira sign. Let me even use Excel. 1 million naira. Yeah. I mean, don't send it to the chat box. You want people to be copying your answer. You people want people to copy your answer. I mean, if you okay, but then even though people are sending it to the chat box, we are already seeing different opinions, which shows that some people are wrong. In fact, a number of people are wrong. That's what this thing is showing from what you are saying. And trust me, the beginning of preparing or knowing what financial statement analysis is all about is understanding what a transaction is all about. You don't know the transaction and you want to analyze the financial statement. You don't even understand how the financial statement come to be, and then you want to analyze it. No. You probably know how to analyze when you know how the financial statements come to be in the first place, such that you understand what transaction can go into what out of the component of the financial statement. I mean, we all know that we have 5 components of the financial statement, right? We have our income statements, or statement of comprehensive income, or statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. We have our statement of financial position. We have our statement of cash flow. We have our statement of changes in equity, and then we have our notes to the accounts, right? We all know that we have these 5 components of a financial statement. And at the same time, we all know that we have 5 elements of a financial statement at the same time. 5 components. Components now is different from elements. Components, what makes up the financial statement. Elements, what is inside. Those things that support what makes up the financial statement. What are the elements of a financial statement? Who wants to try? Before you even post, you see that everybody have raised hand now. I said everybody should calm down. Let me call you. Lower your hand. But let me call John. John, what are the elements of a financial statement?
Okay, capital,
1.
assets,
Mm-hmm.
liability,
Mm-hmm.
income,
Uh-huh.
expenses.
Thank you. So those are the 5 elements of a financial statement. I mean, I used to say something, and I want us to listen very carefully here before you post this transaction, because I'm going to give us some cue on how to post this transaction. You've not fully grasped how to post a transaction. You want to analyze the financial statement. It will be a bit difficult. So I want us to fully grasp how to post a transaction, or how to even recognize transaction. And from there, you are able to know that no matter what, if you are seeing an account and then the asset balance is credit or is negative, you know that something is wrong somewhere. You are looking at an account or a financial statement, and then you are looking at the asset and it's showing in brackets. Without you even analyzing anything, you're already saying that something is missing here. Something is missing here. 5 elements of a financial statement: the assets, the liability, the expenses, the income, and the equity, right? So again, let's understand how these things come to play together before we post. Now, before we get to posting a transaction, I used to say something. As finance professional, or as accounting and finance professional, what we are accounting for is not numbers. Who knows what we are accounting for? We are not accounting for numbers. What are we accounting for? Who wants to try? What do you think we are accounting for? Some people have actually said the answer, and it's fine. What we are actually accounting for as professionals is not numbers. We are accounting for transactions or events. So that comes to the fact that if you do not understand a transaction, even though you are seeing a number, you do not post into the system. Even though you are looking at the financial statements on the surface of it, but you do not know how the numbers come to be, you should not make decision. You are looking at numbers on the financial statement like this, but you do not know how the number comes to be. Unless a situation where you are seeing a number, a comparative numbers, even at that, that is one of the reasons why we have the note to the account. To see or to get insight into some of the things that are not properly explained or outlined on the surface of the financial statements. Again, everybody on this call, whether you are a graduate, whether you are an undergrad, whether you are between 5 years of experience, 10 years of experience and above, what you are actually accounting for as a finance professional is not numbers. You are accounting for transaction or event. Transaction or event. And for every event and transactions, there will always be at least 2 legs. At least 2 legs. It can be more than that. It can never be 1. It can never be what? 1. There must always be 2. There must always be 2. Whether it's between somebody or within yourself, you are doing something. So it's that you are doing a transaction with somebody, or you are even doing within yourself. If you are doing within yourself, you can be moving your money from one account to the other. That's true. Even if you are setting up a business that you are the one that is setting up, I mean, entity concept comes in here. You have to separate between you and the business, which make what? 2. Moving on here, again, the rule of the game. Before you post anything into the system, you must do what? Understand the transaction or understand the event. If you do not understand, do not account for the numbers. If you do not understand, do not, because what you are actually accounting for in the first place is not the numbers, because anybody can deal with the number and put it anywhere they want. But what will make it right, if the numbers speak to the event or the transactions that has been discussed or that has happened. Moving on. Who wants to try? Iwelabi purchased the MacBook. 1 million. How do you post this? Okay. Let me have more people. Okay. Let me try. Alice Fadansi. Please go ahead. Iwelabi purchased the MacBook. 1 million. How do you post this?
Okay, good evening, Iwelabi.
Good
Before
evening.
I would post the transaction, I need to understand what the MacBook is for. The
Okay.
categories, that is, I will understand if it's an asset or
No.
just
Don't let us do it that way. This is not class. Don't explain book. Post the
okay.
transaction. Ask me
Okay.
whatever you want to ask me. Let's post the transaction.
Okay, I will debit my purchases and I'll credit the cash or bank.
Okay, debit your purchases. Are you currently working?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so in your company, do you have a GL that is called purchases? I'm just curious.
No, I don't. We don't.
So you don't have a GL that is called purchases, but you want me to debit purchases here.
Okay,
Alice,
so for the
you
specific
have to
GL
start again.
account, I will debit the specific GL account.
What is
That
the
is
specific GL account, Alice? What account are you debiting here?
computer equipment, that is laptops and
Now you are talking computer equipment.
sorry.
Okay, don't tell me
Alright.
sorry. You are here to learn.
Alright.
So what are you crediting?
Credit the cash or bank or where the transaction happened. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Everybody, thank you very much, Alice. Thanks a lot. But Alice, let me
All
ask you a
right.
question. What
Okay.
do I tell you that this is wrong? Are you going to agree?
Yes, like I said from the beginning, it depends. I need to know what the like laptop is
I
for the
mean,
specific.
you are posting, you are working in an organization, and at the end of
Mm-hmm,
the day, something has happened. They've made a purchase, and then you are
mm-hmm.
sitting at your own corner in finance team, and you are posting. Is that how it works?
No, no, no.
So how is it supposed to work?
So I need to understand what the transaction is for, what the
How do
laptop
you
is for. Is
understand
it
what
for one of?
one is? How do you understand it? Hmm. I mean, just
Okay,
take this place as if it is your workspace. This is you. You are posting on QuickBooks or Sage or SAP that you are using in your company. This is your company. All of us are members of your company. You want to post this transaction because it has happened. What do you do? Alice, think and get back to me. Think and get back to me. Let me move to somebody else.
I
Just
can
think
help,
about it,
sir.
and then you can always boss me later.
All right.
Let me move to somebody else. Moving on, I will call um Halimat Lawal. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Good
Okay.
evening.
Good evening. Do you agree with this first Alice posting? Is it correct?
No, I don't.
Okay, so what will you post? What's your own posting?
Okay. Firstly, um, I would say debit
Mm-hmm.
PPE. That's assuming monthly
Debit
we are
PPE.
it's 1 million. Then
1 million
since
as well, bah?
yes,
So what are you going to credit?
okay, to credit since the transaction is silent on if we pay cash or if we paid
No, no, no,
cash.
no, 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 no,
So
no, no.
I'll
Rule of the game. Hold on, Alimat, hold on. Another rule of the game, guys. Please mute your mic for a second, Alimat. Let me tell you guys something. My people, if you are working in any organization, never assume to post a transaction. Never assume to post a transaction. You gain clarity by asking questions. So Alima is about to assume that the transaction is silent. I'm the one that performed the transaction, and I'm in front of you, and you're assuming that the transaction is silent. No, the transaction was never silent. If you use it that you are in your workspace and you have to post this thing into the system, your CFO has a board meeting tomorrow. How do you go about it? So, Halima, what do you want to credit now?
okay, so if that's the case, so this transaction, was it a cash transaction or the purchase was made on credit?
Thank you. Was it a cash transaction or the That's a very, very valid question. Thank you very much. I mean, it was actually purchased on credit. So what do you post?
Okay, since it was purchased on credit, then the vendor's account would be credited,
Oh, are you currently a
or
student?
we credit our payable.
Payable, at least that one is better. Don't use vendor. You are not, if you are a student or you have a very robust SAP, you are working in multinationals, makes sense. But if you are still like us working with, you know, medium size or small size companies, you have to know the exact GL. Even if you are working with multinationals, you need to know the exact GL the transaction is going. Meanwhile, what Halima has posted to is also not correct. I will not want to waste too much of our time. What Alima has posted is also not correct. Who is very, very sure, right? You are very, very sure that you can post this transaction and you are going to be very correct. Those are the people that I want. We don't have too much time again. I mean, I'm checking my time here and I'm trying to see that, we have started the session. In case you are thinking we have started the session. So Chima, right? Please pardon me. Please go ahead.
Okay. I also asked since you said
No, 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 no,
I
no.
also like to know.
Post your own posting. Your own post.
Okay, my
Yes,
own
it's your
posting.
organization. Help your CFO. Your CFO is going for a board meeting tomorrow, and you have to post all the outstanding postings so that it can be rest assured that the financials are showing the true and fair view of the organization. So yeah, post. Let's see. How do you go about the posting?
I will debit purchases and credit.
I can't hear you.
I will debit purchases and credit.
No, I need an experienced hire to help me out here. I want an experienced hire, somebody that is currently working. You are working, you are in an organization, you know your stuff. Please help me here. Please help me. Let's play together. Blessing, you are currently working, you are an experienced hire.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
Okay.
So, how do you go about this? And
Okay.
just do the way you are going to do in your company. The way you are going to do
It's the
in
way I'm
your
going to do
company.
my
That's
company.
it.
Okay. It's an asset account
Yes.
and you're paying. It's assets. It involves assets and liability. Okay. The bookmark is an asset. But when we are paying the vendor, we're paying the vendor in a lump sum. But we're not going to register
Uh,
that figure in a lump sum
this
because
is
it
very
will have
difficult.
an impact. It will have an old impact on the income.
I mean,
So we're going to debit
you are not
each year.
correct.
Like,
Blessing, you are not right. 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 And the reason is not far-fetched. You are jumping the processes. You are making assumptions. When you make assumptions, you are not going to get it right. I mean, we have spent a lot of time. Let me allow any of my mentees to give it a shot and we can perform the role play here. So who am I calling? Who am I calling now? Okay, if Naya, Lillian, let's give it a shot. How do you post this transaction?
Okay, so for this transaction now, Iwelabi purchased a MacBook for 1 million. First,
Mm-hmm.
just like the second person asked, was it on credits or was it cash purchase? So since it's on credits, we are going to.
No, 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 no. Don't assume. This is your own organization. Like, I mean,
So
post
this is my
it.
organization. So I'm asking you now as my CFO, sir,
Eh,
was this
eh.
purchases?
I'm not about the CFO, I'm the admin guy. I'm a
Okay, you
member
are
of the
the
admin
admin
team that
guy.
purchased the map. So you are assuming. So ask your question. Let's see what you are going
So
to
sir,
post.
was the MacBook purchased on credit or was it a cash purchase?
Well, it was actually neither of the two.
Neither of the two.
Yes. So how do we go about it now?
Neither of the two. So how did we get it?
Good question. So we render a service to the vendor 3 weeks ago, and the vendor was owing us. So we decided to use it to pick a MacBook.
Okay, the vendor was owing us. We decided to use it to pick a MacBook. Okay, so
Yes.
now we are going to credit our receivables because since the vendor was owing us, we had that in receivables, and
Yes.
now we've used it to take a MacBook, right? So we are going to credit the receivables,
Yes.
and then now I want to ask, what was the intent of taking the MacBook?
The intent of taking the MacBook. Actually, we took the MacBook because we wanted to gift it as part of our marketing promotion.
Okay, as part of marketing promotion. So I think this is an expense and not an asset for the company because it won't be used in the production of any goods or in generation of revenues for the company. So I'll treat it as an expenses. Thereby, I'm going to
I
expense
so
it.
hold on a bit. Hold on a bit. Are you saying that? I mean, we're already linking how the three statements work. And so for those of us that are saying that you want to understand how the numbers within the financial statement, you want to understand the analysis, you better pay attention now. So she just said that we are not going to use it to generate any revenue. Are you saying marketing promotion is not going to bring about revenue in the company?
Okay, so it is
Okay.
going to bring about revenue in the company, but
Don't
then but then
Then
advertising
difficult.
expenses. Okay, so okay. I think it still depends on our
That what?
policy in the company. So have we always expensed our advertising
Do you
costs?
capitalize advertising costs? Hey God. Okay.
To expense it.
So what GL are you expensing it to?
Okay, because it was for market promotion, I'm still going to put it under advertising cost.
Advertising cost. I mean, thank you very much. So guys, let's move on. I hope we have learned one or two things. This is actually the correct answer. Thank you very much, Lillian. This is actually the correct answer. So I want to ask a question. Who can tell me why did I say this is the correct answer? Even though it's different from what everybody has posted on the platform since about how many minutes ago? Since 5:36. Who can tell me why I say this is the correct answer? Yusuf Adeoye, please go ahead. Why is this the correct answer?
All right, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
The first thing is that I think she tried to get the intent of using the laptop, like what did they want to use the laptop for?
Exactly. So let me ask you a question, Yusuf. Let's now say the intent of using the laptop is to resell it. Will this still be the correct answer?
No, sir.
So will you agree with me when I say that we are not accounting for numbers, but we are accounting for events and transactions?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. I mean, those people who have posted since morning, even though I gave some people the opportunity to ask questions, they were not asking questions. Let me tell us why I developed this approach to teaching financial statement or understanding financial statement or how to post into the system. There was one day, one of my colleagues at work posted into the system inverter. The guy posted inverter. He debited the assets, right? He debited the assets when he posted the inverter. Now, let's say the inverter is 5 million naira. There was now additional 1 million naira for cable. And then the guy expensed the 1 million naira because the inverter, let's say the inverter was posted on Tuesday. So on Wednesday was when the cable was purchased. And then the guy expensed the cable. When I saw the invoice, when I was approving it, I saw the invoice and I was like, why will you expense 1 million naira cable? I called the guy and said, Oga, several times I have told you not to be posting anything into the system until you understand the transaction. He said he asked question. He said he asked question. I said, okay, who did you now ask? He said he asked the admin lead. I said, you asked the admin lead and he told you to expense it. He said he asked the admin lead. I asked him, what did you ask the admin lead? He said he asked the admin lead whether that cable is an asset or not. And the admin lead said the cable is not an asset. my people, the difference between amateurs or middle level professionals and experienced professionals or super solid professionals is the quality of the questions. The quality of their questions will always differentiate them. Do you expect the admin lead to know IAS 16? I mean, do you guys expect the admin lead to know IAS 16 for the admin lead to be telling you whether or not you are to capitalize the cable? Now, let me ask the class. Let me, hold on, give me a sec. Someone said you want to know key points to watch out for when analyzing financial statement. And then somebody said you want to know how to prepare the financial statement itself. These are some of the things we are already covering. So this guy said he calls the admin lead and asks the admin lead whether that cable is an asset or not. And then the admin lead said it is not an asset. And then the guy expensed it. And I wanted to approve. I saw it. And I pick up my phone and I call the admin lead myself. Let's say you are the oga that wants to approve. You are calling the admin lead. What question are you going to ask from the admin lead for you to know whether to capitalize or expense that cable? What is the question? Meanwhile, mind you, the cable is related to the inverter. What is the question that you are going to ask? Who wants to ask that question? What is that question you are going to ask the admin lead? to know whether that 1 million, how you should treat it. Okay, Favor, please go ahead. Favor, what question are you asking the admin lead?
Is the cable going to be changed often?
Yeah,
That will make it an expense. If
hold
it's
on,
going to be
hold on. Let's make this thing practical. If you are using if, you are going theoretical. Practical is to know what exactly you should do. Practical. This is not class now. They are not going to test us. It is for you to be able to use it at your workspace and be the superstar in the team. And be, I mean, one of my workspace here, and this is quite funny. One of my workspace, I used to be a superstar so much that when I resumed the job, my boss was surprised that I could easily prepare our accounts in the next month after I resumed. And then the next thing, before you know it, I worked in that organization for 2 years, and I got raises like 4 times. Almost every 6 months, they are increasing my salary. The reason is not far-fetched because they know that this guy knows this stuff, and if this guy is going to leave us and we are going to replace this guy, we are going to spend more. And that is one of the reasons why when you are in sessions like this, focus on the practicality, because sections like this are not built for exam purposes. Yeah, you might be able to gain one or two that will be useful for your exam, but sections like this are built for you to thrive in your workspace, to be a sought after in the industry, right? So don't use assumption. Ask question. What question are you going to ask the admin for you to know that this thing, whether you are to capitalize it or not? Amos Olani, please give it a shot.
So thank you very much. I will ask if the inverter can work without the cable.
Thank you. That is the simple question. Can the inverter work without the cable? So, Amos Olani, the answer is yes. What do you do?
Then I will capitalize it with the inverter.
You capitalize it, right?
Yes,
That
sir.
was said.
If the cable, if the inverter can work, if the inverter can work without the cable, I will expense it.
Thank you. But let's now say the inverter cannot work without the cable. What happened?
So that means without the cable, the inverter will not be able to work. They will capitalize it.
Exactly. I mean, there is the concept of materiality that can also be chipped in into this conversation, but don't let us complicate things, right? Because if you look at 1 million, you can argue that depending on the size of the company, 1 million can be a big deal. But it doesn't still mean because it is used to purchase a cable, you must capitalize the cable. So, Blessing, you have a question or you want to say something?
I want to say
Please go
something.
ahead.
I think you just said that now. You mentioned that you asked if the inverter can work without the cable.
Yes.
I just thought it's still enough to capitalize it or not. Because the
Come again,
cable
come
is,
again. I
you have
missed
to look
you.
at,
Hold on, come again.
okay, if the cost of the cable is 1 million naira, that's huge amount of money. So you have to look at the net worth of the company.
Yeah, no,
Can that be
hold
a
on,
capital?
hold on. The cost of the cable is 1 million naira. You assume that it is huge. 1 million naira is huge
Yes.
to. It is not huge. 1 million naira is. I mean, 1 million naira is actually a small amount, but you are already assuming that it is huge. So, if you want to address this kind of conversation, it will not be that you saying 1 million naira is huge. And then you say you want to look at the size, worth of the company. Oh, no, it's not the worth of the company you are going to look at. It's the activity within the company, not the worth. And at the end of the day, we go back to the accounting policy of the company. And let's now say the cable, we just use it once and that's all. Are you going to still look at all of these things that you want to look at? No, because once it is used and there is no, and that's all. I mean, if it's a cable that will not last for more than a single year period, why do you want to capitalize it? But yeah, let me allow you. Air your thoughts. Let me listen and let's see where we are able to get. Blessing. Okay. Blessing.
You already at that point. If you already hit it at that point, if it's not going to be more than 1 year, then really need to capitalize it.
Exactly.
So you have to look at that angle.
Exactly. I mean, this is practical class, and trust me, you have the person. Thank God, Iwelabi that is also my facilitating the session. I think I have a good grasp of some of these things. Uh, so summary of what we just learned here, right? So that we can move on to the next thing on the agenda. Summary of what we just learned here is the fact that for you to even understand financial statement analysis in the first place, you need to understand how a financial statement comes to be. And that cannot be possible if you do not understand the fact that you are accounting for transactions or events and not numbers. So if you go on following, you are just looking at number, you don't understand anything. You are not going to know how to analyze a financial statement. You are not in any way going to. I mean, this is a 2-day class, and it's very interesting because part of the things that we are going to do tomorrow, I already have Shell Financials 2020. Those of us that will be able to attend tomorrow's class, let's download Shell's Financials 2020. I can send it. In fact, let me just send it. Can I get the link? Let me see if I can get the link. If I can get the link, I'll send it to the platform. Let's download it ahead of tomorrow. I've already did some analysis of Shell's and Chevron 2020 financials. Shell's, when I say Shell, that's the like Shell PLC from like the ultimate parent company. Chevron from like the ultimate parent company. I've already done some analysis of those guys. Probably we can take a look at them together tomorrow by God's grace. But before you even get to taking a look at Shell, Chevron, and all of those things, let's deal with what we do at our workspace. And what do we do at our workspace? This is it. For those of us that don't know, let me ask us a question. So this is month end. I'm performing some exercise here. I want us to pay attention. Somebody said they want to know the interconnectedness between the three statements. And it all starts from the trial balance. Once you understand how a trial balance comes to play or comes to be, the three statements, you already know them. Once you understand the trial balance, you already know the three statements. But again, I'll still try to touch a bit of those three statements. Yeah, moving on, right? This is month end, and this is for those of us that are experienced higher. If you're already doing what I want to show us now, if you're already doing it, and you don't know the name it is called, this is a time for you to pay attention. I want to do an exercise right now, and I want us to pay serious attention. And for those of us that are still students, and you are seeing big words on the internet, or from some of us that used to write on LinkedIn, that will be using big grammar, trust me, you see all those big grammars, they are things that many of us can do. But we do not just know that we are already doing them. And that is why, come to the person that says that he was in an interview. He knows the theoretical knowledge of preparing a financial statement. And then the next thing is that he was asked, can he prepare a financial statement? And he was trying to tell them that he understands the theory, but he has not prepared it before. And then the next thing, they didn't give him the opportunity. It is because of probably the way you addressed it. You do not need to have already prepared a financial statement for a company before you prove to anybody that you can prepare a financial statement. You don't need it. You just need to be able to know how to use the right keywords and terminologies, right? Such that by the time you are talking, everybody will just be, wow, interesting. And that's what I'm about to do now, guys. Let's take a look at it together. Okay, so guys, my people, I just highlighted this HMO cost. So, what's this month that we are currently in? Let me name these things by months. Let me name this thing by months. March. Okay, let's now say this is April. Let's now say this is April. In fact, let's stop at March. Let's stop at March. So this is HMO cost that I just highlighted. My people, this is HMO cost that I'm just highlighting. So let's pay a very good attention here. So sorry, guys. I'm just highlighting this HMO cost now. Let's pay a very good attention. So now I'm looking at this HMO cost, and I'm looking at it like this, and I'm looking at it like this, and I'm looking at it like this. I'm looking at it like this. I'm looking at it like this. And then this is April, and I saw 1 million. I'm still looking at it. I look at it again. Let me free Spain the months, because this is what we are going to use to analyze our financial statement at the end of the day. Free Spain up to row 16. Okay, let me do something. These ones. Okay, so I'm looking at it again. 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 Okay, I'm done looking, and I see 1 million naira here. Okay, 1 million naira. Then the next thing, I went to the source document. I started checking. Let's say this is the source document. Don't mind me that I'm just using online. But I mean, so this is the source document. I look at the source document. I saw the description. Okay, now I'm done. I come back here. I say this thing equals this divided by 3. My people, what is the terminology for what I just did? Who wants to try? What I just did now, what do we call it? And another question in addition to that, what I just did, can we regard it to financial statement analysis or not? Okay, John, what is the terminology for what I just did? Some people, please, let's talk. Unless you are in a place that you cannot talk. John, please go ahead. What is the terminology for what I just did? And can we say it's a financial statement analysis or not?
All right. I guess you're referring to him because they seem that there are two John here. I
No,
don't know
yeah,
if
you are the
I'm
one
wrong.
referring to John. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much. So that analogy we'll call it assumption, and we cannot refer it to. Did you get me?
Yeah, I'm trying to get you.
I said that analogy is called assumption.
Assumption.
We are assuming.
Assumption.
Yeah.
No, it's not assumption. Hold on, it's not assumption. But the second question, can we say I'm doing financial statement analysis or not?
Well, from what you just did, I can't say we are doing financial statement analysis.
Okay, Alice, Father on C, please give it a shot. What did I just do? And can you say it's a financial statement analysis or not? Or can you say it's a financial analysis or not? Don't let me even complicate.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see clearly the source document.
So
Can
that
you
source
hear me?
document is just an example.
So
Yeah, I can
the
hear
source
you. That
document
source
was
document is
written.
just an example. That one was
Okay,
just
so
an
this
example.
HMO
Right?
course.
What did I just do with it?
So for me, this HMO cost is a prepayment expense.
What is that thing that I did? I did something. I looked at it from January here up to March. What did I do? What do they call what I just did?
It's a financial statement analysis.
No, you are wrong. Thank you very much for trying.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Shegun, please go ahead. No, that's not forecast. Olani, that's not forecast.
Yeah. Good afternoon. What you did here is amortization.
No. Don't bother. Don't amortize. Bro, where are you staying? I mean, it's not amortization. This is a public forum. Let's take it slowly. It's not amortization. Apportionments. I mean, is it that you guys don't do this thing? Okay, somebody has said is review of financial statement. Somebody has said is review of transaction. Is it that you people don't do these things at work? Okay, let me call one last person. Oh, Yeni, do you want to say something? What I did is not called spread. You people did not pay attention to what I did in the first place. It's not matching concepts. We are not prorating. What I did is called GL proofing. That is GL proofing. GL proofing is about you looking at the trend of a particular GL to see whether what you are saying makes sense or not, to see the correctness, the accuracy level of what you have done. That is GL proofing. So if you are seeing job description that are saying you should know how to do GL proofing, this is what they are talking about. GL proofing is about you looking at your trial balance in a comparative manner and then looking at the trend. And it is also a financial analysis, because trend analysis is about you looking at how things are evolved over time and being able to make decision about it. Guys, based on what I did I make decision or not? I did. I made a decision because this place was 1 million initially. And I look at it, I said, this thing cannot be 1 million naira, where the rest are just 200 and something per month. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing 1 million naira. That means there must be a mistake somewhere. So what do I do next? I go back to the source document. I go to the source document and check. Or I call whoever that is in charge and ask, hello, please, this particular HMO that you paid for, is the 1 million naira a monthly payment or what is the duration? He said, no, it is not a monthly payment. That is for the quarter. I said, oh, okay, for the quarter. Thank you very much. Then the next thing, I come here, I make the decision by doing what? Divided by 3. What I just did is called GL proofing, general ledger proofing. It is also more or less like reconciliation, but it is not reconciliation per se. It is you looking at the trend or flow of a particular general ledger and looking at it in such a way to know whether. Okay, please go ahead, sir. Just go ahead since I can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Okay. So I quickly want to ask a question concerning the. For instance, I want to take example. For instance, we have a rent, which is based on what you have done now. Rent also splits on monthly basis. The total is divided by the number of the month, the number of the month, which is splitted on monthly basis. But for instance, assuming that rent is a standard payment for the but for instance now maybe alongside the organization has a particular rent. You need to rent for a particular event. So
I love that.
how do we understand that? Is it coming to that rent, or we have to use another account head for that?
That's actually a very solid question. I mean, that is still going to be under that rent. But now, because the example you use is actually quite a tricky one. Because at the end of the day, rent is depending on the organization. If the rent is just a 1-year rent, that is not going to be something we are going to apply IFRS 16 to, fine. But if it is something that we are going to apply IFRS 16 to, then that particular one that you incur, you have to be cognizant of it when you are preparing your IFRS 16 schedule, right? But can you post it inside it? Yes, you can post it inside it because it's also a rent for a particular event and it's a rent, right? But another thing you need to know is that what I just did, the idea is that let's now say this 1 million naira is genuine because, like you said about the rent, there were now 30 additional staff that were employed during the year. And that is why the 1 million naira shoot up or shot up that way. What happens is just for us to know that that is what happened and acknowledge it, that it is correct. It is not a mistake. So if you see an additional rent and then the rent number jacked up during the period and you look at it, say, rent has jacked up. Why did it jack up? You look at it and then you get that information that, oh, actually, we rented a space to accommodate for one particular XYZ event. And that is the reason why we posted there. That is all. You know the reason why it is like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The idea of doing what we are doing now is not to correct the GL. No, not that. It is not necessarily to correct or change the number in the GL. It is not to change the number in the GL. It is to be sure that the GL is accurate. That is what we just did. So there are times where things can actually change. I mean, during this kind of period, in Nigeria, for example, where prices of certain items have increased significantly. So initially, let's say for example, initially, let me use travel and logistic. So initially, travels in a month is usually, let's say, 250K. And all of a sudden, it becomes 600K, right? All of a sudden, it becomes 600K. What do you do? What do you need to do to gain comfort that this 600K is correct? I'm asking a question. Who wants to try? You are looking at it. It was 225 before. Now you are seeing 600K. What do you need to do? You are already analyzing a financial statement, or you are already performing financial analysis. In case you don't know, you're already performing financial analysis. Though there are levels to this thing, but some of the basic level that some of us can usually easily use to say we are already doing the job at distance. You're already doing the job. Get confirmation on it. You don't need to check inflation against it now. All you just need to do is to request for the support documents. Request for the support document. What is the support document? Once you see the support document, you are fine. And you know that you don't need to change the numbers. You just know the reason why it has become that way. And so, forecasting will come to place now when you have known that, this thing has changed from 255 it used to be to 600. Then you can now go back to your budget for the year and forecast about the fact that, okay, for the next 3 months, the new expected travels and logistic expenses will be pegged at an average of 650K. That's forecasting. Forecasting happens on the go. It happens on the go. As things are happening, inflation is happening. You are changing based on the new data that is coming to life. And what we just did is called trend analysis. Many of us think that trend analysis is all about you actually pressing your calculator and stuff like that. You can be mere looking at something and look at the trend, and we are one way or the other, we make decisions by looking at something and know that, okay, this thing, it has been 500 for a while now. Okay, that means that it is still going to be 500 for the next 2 months. You have made decision. That is financial statement analysis, or you say financial. The financial statement analysis that many of us are now expecting. Now talk about ratio analysis, talk about common size, talk about benchmarking, and all of those stuff. Those are part of the things we are going to be examining tomorrow by God's grace. So for today, let's create the basis. Again, let's finalize on this basis where you are at your workspace. This is not theoretical class. This is practical class. You are at your workplace. Again, let's look at it this way. Let's say, this kind of trial balance you are saying, it's a one column trial balance where both income, expenses, assets, and everything are merged together under one, and they are differentiated by negative sign and positive sign. Yeah. So now let's say you are reviewing this thing. The next thing, let's say, in fact, let me just put some things here by myself. Let me put some other GL there. Receivables, payables, assets, costs, assets. I think the processing is already up. Please mute your mic, and then let me do liability. So receivables here. Let me just do 300. Just give me a sec. Let me just do this one here. Let me make it up to here. Now we are going to do financial statement analysis using our trial balance. It is good to understand how the numbers work. And when you are saying things like this, what comes to mind? Okay. Then all of a sudden it comes to this, then it goes back to it was this. No, it was this. It was this. Uh, and it began. No, then it goes. Then it goes. No, no. Then am I almost okay? Let me just stop here. Then I'll do the same thing. I'll use the same set of numbers, regardless of what the definitions are. I paste it here. But I now do some issues here. I do minus. No, hold on. This is supposed to be negative. -1. This okay. This multiplied by this. Okay. Sorry guys. We just need to do this. Okay, we did something. We just need to do this test. Okay. 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 Then I can remove minus from this one. No. I can remove minus from this one. Then every other thing is fine. Okay, guys. Now, I want an experienced hire. Somebody who is even a student, anybody. I want somebody to tell me a story. Somebody said he wants to learn how the numbers work. And the stories, I think that was the first person. The first person said leveraging business financials data. Somebody says key point to watch out for when analyzing a financial statement. That is the person I'm going to be addressing now. Razak. That is the person. So we are already doing what Razak requested for. Now, who can tell me a perfect story? A perfect story. If you cannot do it, please don't let us do. If you are not sure, and this is a session that is practical. If I'm asking a question, even if you cannot tell me, try to jot it down. Try to see whether or not you can answer by yourself. Somebody says, Iwelabi, how come you are so good with this thing? I'm like, do you know the number of simulations I've done in my head that I've interpreted by myself? If you know the number of simulations that I do, in fact, I'm sleeping and talking, I'm just thinking about this number. How is it like this? And all of those things. I've simulated a lot. And then the person that says you have not prepared the financials before, and they say you should prepare, these are your opportunities. You let them understand that this is how the financials work. If you explain to anybody how the financials work, they will. Well, the reason why many people will not believe you is because you are talking theoretical. But if you make it practical, like, okay, so I've not been privileged to prepare a financial statement before in the past. However, I've attended a couple of trainings. I've taken a number of courses to ensure that I get the practical knowledge of how these things work. For example, for an income statement, for a company like yours that is into subscription business model, I want to believe that as much as possible, IFRS 15 will be applicable to how to recognize the revenue. So since we are into subscription business model, it is very, very important that on our financial statement, one way or the other, there must be a contract liability or a deferred revenue. And this is because we will have gotten funds or money ahead or don't use consideration, use layman things. We probably have, for example, we've received 1 million naira for a service we are supposed to deliver for a 6-month period, and it happens in October, right? It means that the 1 million naira, out of it, we'll probably have a part of it, let's say 200,000 naira, will be for October, November, and December. The rest of the balance that is left is going to be part of the things in terms of the 400K will be in our contract liability. So, the next thing as well is that is the relationship between our income statement and then the statement of financial position. So 3 things are basically affected with this just one transaction. So we have our revenue that will be affected, which is from the income statement. We also have our assets account that will be affected, which is from the asset part of the balance sheet or the statement of financial position. And then we also have our liability that will be affected, which is from the liability side of the statement of financial position. So also, I've also learned about the fact that from some of the conferences that I've attended, in fact, there was one that was organized by CFO Africa last 2 weeks, where we discussed financial statement analysis. I was also able to gain one or two things in respect to how to manage geo-proofing, how to ensure that operational activities are well tied and the end-to-end financial statement preparation is well managed. From saying, for example, if I notice within the GL that there is a negative balance within the receivable account or GL, I know that something is probably wrong and it needs to be investigated. You know, when you talk like this, people look at you and be like, okay, it seems like this guy knows what he's saying. And then the next thing, they will ask you questions based on what you have said to test you further. By the time you answer 2 or 3 of their questions and you even enlighten them beyond what they expected from you, you know, you get the job. Trust me, you'll be given the opportunity. There was a time I got a job as a manager for financial planning and reporting. During that period, I was basically at home, right? I was out of my full-time job, as usual, one way or the other for me. I was at home. And when I was doing the interview, by the time I started introduction, talk to how I've reported to SEC, how I've reported to CBN in the past, how I've managed portfolio reporting for the likes of Shell and other big organizations. I mean, when the Oga was asking questions, he was just very happy. And at the end of the day, I got the job. Even when I competed with people who are like that are like supposedly far ahead of me in terms of qualification and some other things, right? I got the job. And when the Oga was telling me one of the reasons why he hired me, it said I could easily think on my feet. And the reason is not far-fetched. It is how much simulations I've been able to do, how much sessions like this I've attended. I've attended a lot of them, trying to get 1 or 2 things around, okay, this is the practicality of this. And when I get to the interview, I don't talk theory again. I talk practical. Like GL proofing, for example. Some other people don't even know that GL proofing is GL proofing. And let them know that. So, for example, another financial analysis that we can easily be doing is, okay, at month end, I can easily go to the general ledger and look at the trial balance for a 6-month period, try to look at the trend and see what has changed. And for example, if we notice that anything changed, say we paid for HMO and then it used to be 300 that has been amortized, and all of a sudden I'm seeing 500 in the particular month. I have to look into the month and open the GL, try to investigate what has happened. Was it that there is a mistake, or request for the support document to be sure that this is actually the right thing that needs to be posted into the system? Nobody will listen to this and not say, yes, you know what you're talking about. But I mean, you are not going about. So in the GL proofing, so the general ledger will look at the double entry, whether the double entry is perfect, and then there is also single entry account, there's contra entry, and the people just like, did this guy cram to this interview? Use example on spot. Use the interviewer as your example. Say, for example, you are into this part of this kind of business. They will know that you are thinking on spot, and for you to be able to think on spot, it means you know what you are talking about. I mean, enough of story. We have limited times now. This is receivable. Everybody can see what I have done here. Let me see. Yes, everybody can see what I have done here. I need one person to help my career. One person to explain these numbers to me. What did you notice? Tell me a perfect story of what you notice here. Interpret what you are seeing on this dashboard to me. Who wants to give it a shot? Explain what you are seeing here. How the financial statements, or how the elements within the financial statements, how they are relating with each other. Who wants to give it a shot? You are looking at receivable, and these are the numbers. Everything, they are in error. Let me put the currency in case some of us are feeling like it's because of the currency that doesn't allow us to know how to explain it. This is the currency. You are looking at it. How do you explain this thing? Who wants to give it a shot? Okay, John.
Okay, from the receivable, yeah, uh, I noticed that from the very first, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. So I noticed that for every quarter there is a changes. For every quarter there is changes in the receivable. I mean,
That
from
that's
January
not,
to
that's not what you want to say. Talk to present it to the board. Even if you are not, if you are say, even if you are a student, even if you are an undergrad, present
yeah,
it to the
yeah.
board. Talk to the board. Talk to your people. Talk to a layman, somebody that's not an accountant. Tell them a story of the numbers because that's what differentiates you and your counterparts. Tell them the story.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay.
Mhm.
So from the receivable, yeah, our companies, for the very first quarter, there was an increase when compared to this second quarter. Uh, so our so can you get me clearly?
Yes, loud and clear. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
O- o- Okay. So from the first quarter, yeah, we receive an increase in our receivables, but there was a decrease in the second quarter, and this there was decrease of about 200 200,000. Is that 200,000?
Yes, it is
Sorry, there was a
200,000.
decrease of
Right.
100,000.
Ah,
100,000.
okay. John, thank you very much. I mean, I think we need to connect. Please chat me
Hello.
up on LinkedIn. Hey,
Yeah.
John, thank you very much. I think we need to
Yes.
connect. Chat me up on LinkedIn after
Uh,
this session. Let's connect. I think I might probably be able to
uh,
even we might be able to sharpen ourselves a lot more than this. Please, let's connect after this
uh,
session. Thank you
okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the attempt. Sulaiman, please give it a shot.
From this financial, I can see that okay, for the first half of the year, we have an excess of 3 million of our fund outside of our revenue outside, which is categorized as our receivables. But towards the second half of the year, for the first 3 months, we have been able to have our cash in hand by receivables from 3 million to 200,000. And the effect of that is that in our cash flow, that is an inflow. It's a positive movement for us. We have been able to recover our outstanding, our withholding cash outside. We have been able to recover it from the from the second half of the year, and towards the end of the year again we still have some an increase in the level of our revenue still being held as receivable. That is for the receivable side, and also for the payable side. For the
Thank you
first
very
half of the month, we have
Wait,
been
no,
able
no, no, no,
to.
no, no, no. It's just
Sir?
receivable now. It's okay. It's just receivable.
Okay,
Thank you
okay,
very
okay,
much.
okay,
We have tried.
okay,
I
okay.
mean, if I'm to score you, what do you think I will score you? Let me ask you. Let's say you are interviewing. If I'm to score you, what do you think I will score you? And I'm sure you know me very well.
Y- yes, I know you to be very rigid in this score, but
You are very.
for me to just make mention of cash flow,
What am I going to score you, my
cash
brother?
flow,
What am I
I would
going to
say
over 10?
4/10.
Over 10.
Four over
What
10.
did you say? 4/10. Thank you very much for that. Let me ask somebody else to score you based on what the person observed. So Ridwan Ridwan Opaleye, please score this person over 10. What will you score the last person? And then you can go with your own. What will you score the last person?
Actually,
And
I will score him 4/10
why?
because he didn't explain it very well.
Oh, nice. Now you go on with your own explanation. Let me hear from you.
Actually, looking at the receivable, we see that from January to April, the receivable was fixed. There was no changes in the value. So we have to investigate the reason. Is it that we didn't get anything in return from our customers? We have to investigate the reason. So when we look at our receivables in May too, there's a negative value of 3,500,000 in May. So what is the reason for a negative receivable? Is it that we receive advance, we receive advance from our customers and we are yet to supply goods to them? So the trend back to June, it increased to 3 million positive again. What is the reason for that? Straight to July, the receivable dropped drastically to 200,000. We have to investigate. Probably we received the amount or not. Same for July to October. It increased to 3 million again, back to 4 million. So we have to investigate looking at the payable days, receivable days.
When are you going to submit the report if you are doing all this investigation? When are you going to submit the report? I mean, honestly, you did impressively well. The first guy, which is John. I mean, John has said he's a student or he's a recent graduate, so we will not take it from there, right? So the second person, Monsu, he also went because John made a mistake in the first place. He went straight to the quarter. No, the story you are saying here, it was deliberate, and Ridwan got the first part very well, very very well, and that's why, in fact, Ridwan should probably get a 7/10. Because he got the first part very well. You are looking at the trend from January to February to March to April. Your receivable is not increasing, it's not changing. You need to ask yourself a question: what's happening? Is it that we are not trading our receivable, or is it that we have stopped selling on credit? What exactly is happening? Why is our receivable static? So now, financial statements, how they relate now, guys, how they relate. If your receivable is not increasing, one of those reasons is because you are not selling on credit. It can also be that you are even not selling during the period. You are not in operation during the period, because it could be that you are not actually making any revenue during the period. So you are not selling. Is it that you have stopped selling on credit? One. Let's say we are making revenue. It means that between January and April, all our revenue is on cash. And the instruction has been that everybody get your money as you are selling. No more, what's it called? Credits. That's it. Between January and April, our receivable remains static. We need to investigate why. So probably we stop giving credit. Two, we are not chasing receivable because it is just two major clients. I'm using example. It is just two major clients that are owing us. And it makes sense if I say it is two major clients that are owing us, because at the end of the day, by the time they paid, if there are two major clients that are owing us, I mean, if two people are accounting for about 80 to 90% of our receivable, by the time those two pay, what do you expect? By July, it drops to 200K. So if somebody say it is two major receivable that we have, does it make sense to your year or not? It makes sense. But before we get to July, there is something that is not making any sense, which happens in May. It is not making any sense. And what was that? In May, you are seeing that there is a negative on your receivable. And then you scroll down, you see that your liability is positive. I mean, liability is meant to be negative. Bro, you are positive. What is happening? The investigation will commence. It is not supposed to be a big investigation. When I say investigation, not too big investigation. Go to the GL, look at what they posted there. Most likely, like what Ridwan has said, is it that somebody overpaid us? I mean, by the time I see June, I know that nobody overpaid us. It was not an overpayment. It was an error. So I say, what was the error that happened during the period? Probably somebody posted what they are supposed to post to liability into receivable, and the mismatch. There was a mismatch. So, as of May, there is a negative balance in receivable, which connotes that there is likely a mistake. In fact, which is certain that there is a mistake, because it's not connote. Because at the end of the day, let's say somebody overpay us, and we now put it there. The right thing is still that you have to reclassify it. So somebody is owing you 300K. The person now mistakenly pay you 500K. You cancel the 300K in your receivable, and then you credit your account receivable orders with the balance. So you do not post all the 500K into receivable to clear the receivable. That one will throw the receivable in negative, which is wrong. So what do? You reclassify. Debit your bank 500K, credit your receivable 300K, credit your account payable orders 200K, and that is it. But you now do debit bank 500K, debit bank 500K, credit receivable 500K. That is still a mistake. It shouldn't have happened. Then by June, you notice that it comes back to status quo, which signifies that the May own is actually a mistake. So by July, 200K, meaning there are high chances that our receivables are settled. So you check through your bank, is it true that receivables have settled? And we still maintain the same receivable balance. So that means the other percentage. And we still have to have the same question that we've asked in the first place. Is it that we are not selling on credit again, or what is happening? There can be a policy to not sell on credit. And because of that, receivable values will not change. Then the next thing is that by the time you get to October, receivable value change, but it's close to what it is what it was in June. Then you have to ask yourself, is it that those clients have come back? What was their activities? Then you look at it. Oh, okay, this is what happened. Then by November, we have given more receivable. Who are these new people that we gave receivable? We thought that you said we are no more selling on credit. What is happening? You said, there is these new clients, Chevron, that we are trying to let them to be pursuing, be our business partner. So you cannot do Chevron anyhow. We have to give Chevron receivable credit to. You say, okay, that's fine, no problem. Then the next thing, by the time you get to December, some people have paid. And that is it. That is the story. Summary of the story of what I want us to grasp from here is that receivable is static. Why is it static? Revenue should be affected. And then you have to ask what the policy, operation. This is where your own knowledge of business operation comes in. Is it that there has been a policy that has changed that no more credit sales? Or is it that we are not even in operation at all during the period? But we are in operation because the thing still continues. And then in May, the May is the obvious one. There is a negative balance. Something must be wrong. So that's where the first investigation will come. So I said you are doing 2 investigations. You are doing investigation for the first 4 months. You are looking at May 2, and then every other thing. You can always just know what is happening. Many of the rest will not require investigation. The same thing goes for payable. What's happening? We are not paying our vendors. What exactly is happening? We are not paying our vendors. Then you are not seeing a debit balance in payable. You should know that one is a mistake. A mistake. Then that's that. Then every other thing remains the same. Assets. Asset own is very, very funny. If you see, let me ask final question from this end. You are looking at your asset costs. Now you are looking at this place. You see your assets all of a sudden at 200. What has happened? Who wants to give it a shot? What do you think must have happened? If Naya, please go ahead.
So because this is a cost and I see a reduction, I'll think this is a disposal. There has been a disposal of assets. Then I would confirm. I'll go ahead to confirm.
So what's the next thing you want to do? You said at first. What's the next thing you want to do?
The next thing is to confirm if there was actually a disposal of assets.
You said at first you look at it whether it is a disposal. Madam, as soon as it is an asset and it is the cost, and you are seeing this kind of reduction, there is only one thing that is possible other than mistake: a disposal. A disposal has happened. Other than mistake, a disposal has happened. So what do you need to do? What other account heads are you going to check to confirm that this is a disposal? Lillian, you know that this is in the assets. Now, what other account heads are you going to check from the income statement point of view to confirm that a disposal actually happens?
So you said only the income statement. Can I look at my cash flow?
Okay, look at your cash flow too. I mean,
Okay,
if you
so
are looking at your income statement, you already get the answer now. But look at your cash flow too.
okay, so under cash flow, I'll go to the investing section.
Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry.
Thank
You are
you.
completing it now. You are complete.
Okay.
Who else wants
Can
to
I
try?
try?
Just looking at the tribal. Please go ahead,
Can I
Cynthia.
try?
Please go ahead.
Proceeds from disposal of assets.
One, which other accounts?
I can also go to my bank to confirm receipt of payments.
That one will be tough now. I mean, bank has a lot of transactions. Go elsewhere, but that's also correct. Go elsewhere. One last place. That one is very easy. One last place. Ashiat, please go to the last place. Ashiat, what's the last place you are going to
That
confirm
should be
that?
your accumulated. That should be your
Accumulated
accumulated
depreciation.
depreciation account.
Thank you very much. And somebody, Queen Okon, said asset register. That's also correct. Thank you very much, guys. I mean, I hope this has been an enlightening session. So thank you very much, guys. Tomorrow, by God's grace, we are going to be drilling and looking at Shell's 2020 financials. And the reason why I said 2020 financials is not far-fetched because we all know what happened in 2020. And that will give us a good insight into financial statements analysis. Thank you very much, guys.